All right, we should be good. Everybody got their audio?
Yep, I got
Okay.
audio included.
Give us 1 second here. All right, everyone. Welcome to Moose Media Show. We have here with us today, we have Hoodler, captain of the Jets. We have Scrub, the captain of the Railers. And we have Hoodrat, and I'm sorry, Hoodrat, but I happen to not know what team you were captain of. The Thunder. Okay, I was on the Thunder. Good deal. So we're gonna go over some standings for you guys, some leaderboards, and a couple of other things. So, how's everyone doing today?
Good, man.
Good.
Works from home. I'm glad to be working from home all the time. It's great.
Yeah, I wish I could have that. That's a good thing. You guys happy with your teams at the current time? Everybody doing what they're doing?
Oh man, I'm couldn't be happier with my team so far. I got off to a rough start, and since the first week, we've been 3-1. So
Yeah, I feel you with that. I thought I was gonna be like screwed beyond belief because I mean, as everyone knows, I jumped in with like three days left, 4 days left, just because we had numbers to add a team and Hoagie needed a captain, a co-captain. I was like, I'll help him out, but I'm really surprised with my draft because I basically got every player that I wanted that was on my board except for one, which was Sancho. But I knew I would have a battle with the Flyers that we both wanted the same guy. And whatever team got one, they weren't getting the other, so it worked out. Okay. Right, okay. Right. And, I had to lay off after a certain point for Sancho because I did have my carryover right wing for with Vachon, and then I was playing center, so it was like, where am I going to play? So I backed off on that, and then I actually got a very, very good D guy, one of the tops in the league, with Shuck and Jive, who not too many people know him, but the guy's he's definitely a top defender.
great defenseman. Yeah, he's a good defenseman. I think Vachon too, man. Is he had? I mean, you can't say a bounce back season because he had a good season last season, but he's just really stepped up his game this season. It seems like.
Yeah, I didn't know the guy, and Hoagie had said to me that he wanted to keep that guy, and I was like, well, who is he? He's like, look at the leaderboards, and I looked. I mean, the guy had phenomenal numbers for being. I mean, he was still on a playoff team, but it was surprising because I didn't know him. I took Hoagie's word for it, and after playing with the kid, he's definitely a beast. He's one of those little QC greasy dudes that just can get through people.
Yeah, he's sitting at 66 points in 16 games, so that's definitely impressive, especially with that number of games played. So,
Yep. How you feeling, Scrub, on your team?
I
know you got a shocker
over
over there for me. As everyone knows, I was a member of the Reelers last year, and Slammerama was my right wing on that team. And I tell you what, that series that we had a couple weeks ago, he was frustrating the hell out of all my guys because they couldn't get in the zone because his poke check was so like deadly. They'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go here. He's like, God damn it, he's freaking get me again.
Slam's a very good.
And that's when we
it works out
made the
great
conservative
because I can give him
change that
so many games at right D and then play him 2 games at right wing when Jelly can't play, obviously. So that works out good for us. But I mean, everybody's been performing good on my team. Williams, I paid 3 for. He's a great lefty.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him, but I see his numbers. He's sitting right there at number 1 on the top 5 defensemen.
I mean,
yeah, I was told about him too.
Yeah, it goes off a plus and minus, but if you look at statistics too, I mean, he's got 2 goals, 17 assists, 38 hits.
Yeah, he's got a pretty even stat line there.
Yeah, he's played 11 games so far. I'm trying to give everybody a fair amount of games. He does. I mean, he does exceptionally well, and even Blues performing. Blues performing.
I'm doing
he's
the
got
same.
2 goals
I'm sitting
already.
out as many games as I can, trying to get people in.
Yeah.
It'll help me now even more that I just made a trade and got AC the other day, which I was pretty happy I was able to pull that off because the person I originally went to wasn't interested, but then he messaged me back later on the day, was like, hey, I got a 3-way that'll work for you that gets you AC. I was like, let's do it. In a heartbeat, let's do it.
He's a solid center.
My biggest thing that brought my team together was Jalbert from Jets, because my whole goal was to put Jelly on right wing this season. I know other people told me to play him at center, but when you can have Jelly just worrying about creating offense, he is very
not worried about the defensive side of the game. Yeah, I get that. Jalbert was on my board too, and then I got note later on when it was actually too late from Vachon that he wanted him, but it was too late after that. And then when he went up on the board, I kind of thought about it for a second, and then I'm like, it's a little too early to be making a change. You know what I mean? To try to make a change. I felt that everything was good.
Yeah.
But now I have two backup centers in QC and AC, so I'm happy with that. So that'll give me the flexibility that I hadn't had before in my Mariners season when I did really well, but I was one player short because there wasn't anybody that I could slot in a position when I had to switch around, whether it be the D or goalie or something like that. And now I have that flexibility this season, so I'm really happy about that. Plus, I get to sit out the Bruins games and watch the Cup rather than play.
One thing that surprised me, I was looking at our stats too. One thing that actually surprised me, Earl's known for his defense. If he was signed up for defense, everybody knows, at least, Title, he would have went for a lot. And
right.
Looking at his stats, he's got 14 games played, and he's got 44 points, 21 goals, 23 assists. He's even performing well, but he also covers us on defense. It's nice having Earl.
Right, and a lot of people, because majority of the Moose nowadays is all newer. I'll call it newer generation of Moose. Where back in the old days, like me, Blue Line, or a lot of the other people that were here for a long time. I was here off and on. Blue Liner's been here straight, but Earl was a forward, you know what I mean, until he converted to D, and then he became a beast at D, and he hasn't really played forward, but he's always had the capability to play forward.
Yeah, he's sitting at 16th ranked in forwards right now overall. He's performing great. Everybody on my team's been doing good. MQ is the goalie when I'm not playing too, and
goalie.
He's a really good goalie. He just got the unfortunate events of having to face the Blues the first night, and we played horrible against them. So he's slowly coming up the statistics for goalies too. He's
speaking of goalies that have
looks like
hands.
we both ran into the same problem there, Scrub, that gave us both our losses, except for the ones that we gave each other in our series, which I can't wait till next week when we have the rematch.
Oh yeah,
but I hit gold with my goalie too, Deke. You know what I mean? Dekelicious.
Yeah.
Kid's a freaking animal. No matter where I put him. When I was looking over that board, and I looked over and I was like, okay, he's referred. I think it was Squally that referred him, and then I did some talking to people and stuff like that, and got some feedback on him. And I'm like, if the Reelers don't take him, I'm taking this fucking guy. And I did get some people some people say that he can get emo and this, that, the other thing, but the dude's great. You know what I mean? He gives me straight availability. every single night that I need it. Last night I asked him. He usually only plays 9:30 games for me. I was like, can you please give me a double night and give me 9 and 9:30? He was like, yeah, I can pull it off tonight. So, and then having Jers, I mean, I was overloaded with goalies. You know, I have the 1-2 who also plays in the other league as a goalie in that league. So,
and Jers
I'm pretty happy with
in IOHL last season, and the dude's an animal in that, and he's not even your best goalie. You guys are set.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dekalicious plays at a high level in another league. Very popular, and he plays defense and he plays offense so well. He's sick with the LT trigger, and he's pretty sure
when
he's
he told me he could
goalie.
play D, Shuck and Jive had something come up, and I was like, can you give me right D? He's like, oh yeah, sure. He's freaking awesome. He moves the puck out great, doesn't turn it over, helps the fucking rush when he needs to. I was like, wow, I hit a diamond in the rough with this kid.
Yeah, great player. Definitely. Because I knew that if he wasn't getting taken, I wasn't sure how well known he was, Moose. And I was really, because I had the 4th pick in the TC draft, and he hadn't really played a whole lot. So I was really hoping that my idea was I was going to draft him and then send someone down to make him my main roster guy.
That was my
what you guys did
thing.
too.
As soon as I got him, I was like, I'll wait the week. I'll give him a couple games this week because I had the 8 or the 7 flexibility that he could play. Get him in there, see what's going on, and then once I seen, I was like, this kid's up.
Yeah, exactly. Hoodrat, how's your team doing, bud? You guys have a good, solid team, eh?
You guys talked about it before. Like, I know I paid 30 for Upshaw, but like by the time that Upshaw came up, like so many good D-men were gone. You have to spend big on somebody. Plus, like I'd already gotten Frosty for so cheap that the two kind of balance each other out. I don't know. I feel like after the last couple moves, like we needed someone that could fill right wing, like at an elite level, and Tactics is that guy. Even though he changed his gamer tag this season. But, I mean, so we got him, and then we got that trade for Dez for Dangs, because Dangs is one of the best forwards in the league, but the dude doesn't show up to games. And, you know, even then, when he does show up, I can only play him 3 nights a week. Where it's gonna
yeah, the dude's definitely got some moves. I seen he posted a video. I don't know if you guys are privy to it, but he posted a video in the clips for the top 10 of the week. That the freaking goal was ridiculous.
Oh,
I'm like, holy crap!
Speed through the zone, LTs around a guy.
He just dutied on everybody.
And that was the Flyers' top line too. That was Weapon and Coherent on defense.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not
we
like
went up against those guys tonight. Big boy game for us tonight.
They have a really good. Their A line with their part timers is a really lot more manageable when they're when G Code itself can't play.
Right.
But yeah, circling back to my team, like it's like I've got backup goalie last year. Like, the only complaint I really have is, like, I wish I had a D partner that was good as Upshaw for Upshaw to play with. Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I have to ask, though, of Damare. I mean, he's only played 2 games, at least from what I can see. What's going on with that?
So, he was in a car accident, missed, like, the last 2 weeks. And then his doctor cleared him for, like, video games and, like, his phone and stuff again as of June 2nd. But I guess Owen was telling me that, like, the chemistry's not really working because Ty wants to play a certain type of style that, like... I mean, you guys already know, like, French-Canadian players, especially in this game, have their own way of playing the game. Like, Frosty plays unlike a lot of other guys in this league. So... I needed to move Dangs out. They needed a part-time guy, and like honestly, I think Dez is probably one of the top 10 forwards in this league when he's playing his game. So having a guy like that, I mean, he played, I believe, what was it, season 34 and season 35, and then he took a break. But the dude is an elite goal scorer, and he moves the puck like probably nobody else on my roster can. So having those 3 up top with him and Tactics and Frosty,
it
kind of makes me want to sit out more games than I have been.
It wouldn't be the first. It wouldn't be the first time that a captain has done that. Blue Liner and Jets Killer and some other captains have done that in the past when they figured it was the best thing to get some dubs that they needed. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like,
what my captain does
you gotta
too.
do.
I've been playing 8 a week out of necessity alone because like Frosty's a great forward and so is Tactics now, and like even August is good, but like none of those guys are decent centers. Like they don't like they can play center, but they're gonna lose like every draw. It's the same reason I traded Yorktown because like decent player, but
Right.
like he's a penalty factory and he can't win a faceoff. So
I play center and I hate taking draws myself. I mean, I'm not terrible. Sometimes, I mean, it's like it's basically the way I look at it. Sometimes it's like I think it's more connection based. I mean, yeah, you got to still do the things, but if the connection's bad and you're doing the rock paper scissors thing that's supposed to trump the thing that they're doing, if it's a bad connection, you're still not connected with that thing.
Maybe when
it's so frustrating.
When we played you guys, I went up against you both games in the series, and I think the first game I was running like 80 ping and I went like 22-9. And the second game, you beat me like 25-13. Like, it was brutal.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was. I think it was the same, except different games. Same exact thing, like 24-9. You beat me, then the next game I beat you 24-9 and some shit like that.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, we had the same face-off thing for both games.
But I mean, like,
except reverse.
Speaking of, I really feel we need to add that since we're doing like more fun, creative things this season for leaderboards. A face-off leaderboard would be sick. Jobert would be at the top.
Yeah, well,
I think Jobert's at like 63% or something, but
yeah, he's pretty good. Something's wrong with the formula. We actually, Scrub can tell you, he's been in parties with the frustration trying to work on that and get it going. There's just something with the program, which I think next season with the new website and the new whole thing being unleashed next game, I think everything should be fixed.
Well, I know that
hopefully.
I know the percent like mid last season, I think. When all of a sudden it jumped where like Ty at one point had like an 843% face-off percentage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fine in the beginning of the season. Then something happened, and it hasn't been right since. It was when the stats site got all busted up last year. After the stats site crashed, when we had to redo them all over, like week 2 or something like that. It's been screwy since.
Yeah, I remember because I was bragging about how well I was doing on face-offs, and I realized how broken it was, and it had me at like a 89 percentage or something. I'm like, okay, that can't be right.
Yeah, Blues beat himself up over that, trying to figure it out.
I know him and Bell. I sat in a party with those guys for like a whole Saturday, trying this, trying that, trying this, trying that, like. And he even reached out to someone else who basically runs almost the same program, and even what works for them isn't working for us. So there's something in there that is a little wonky.
If you guys don't mind, I kind of want to circle back to the preseason summary that I did and kind of go over the standings. Is that cool?
Is there a is it posted in the thing there? Let me just.
No, well, we posted the preseason summary earlier. I just kind of want to go over where my predictions were and where everyone's at. I guess we can start at the top, which is Scrub's team, sitting at number 1. They're 19-3. Far and away have the most goals for. I'm gonna guess that most of those goals came from Jelly. I mean, if we're looking at just his stats
Jelly's
alone,
already pushing like 60 goals this season.
Yeah, he has 55 goals,
right now.
so it's almost half of their goals. So obviously he's been doing a lot of the offensive production, but either way, the solid team all around. Clearly, their power play is sitting at like a third, 33%. So don't want to go against their power play. Pretty much where I thought they would be. I mean, in the top 5, that's where I predicted them. So, not really surprised at that. They have a difference of 71 goals. So, 128 goals for, 57 against. 57 more of a middle of the pack goals against, but they're getting all the goals that they need. So, not really too much of a factor. Number 2. Right now is Notorious's team, Kootenay Ice, also 19-3. But it's kind of evened out because they only have 39 goals against, which is the least amount of goals in the league. They have 92 goals for with a difference of 53.
Right, and everyone that knows me knows that's the style that I play, and it kind of both the scenarios that you went through just there, how powerful Scrubs team is and how defensive my team is. In our series, they kind of blew us out the first game with all their offense. Then the second game, we clamped down on defense, and it was the other way around. You know what I mean? They didn't do nothing.
Yep.
So it's definitely the way you definitely just described both teams. We're defensive, they're offensive. So we got one more series coming up, so that's going to be a beauty. I'll actually have to stream that, make that like the stream of the night or something.
Yeah, that would
For anybody who's not playing that would want to watch it.
For you particularly, I mean, you won Defensive Forward of the Year, last year. So that doesn't really surprise me at all. Not at all.
I mean, I kind of I can go out there and I can people have played with me when I'm not playing that way and we're goofing around. I can score, I can do that, but when I play in a serious game, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to get the puck out early for my D guys so they don't turn the puck over, and then play back. Like in your series, you guys were beat. I think I might have had that might have been the game that I had the TC guy in there, and we were getting beat back a lot. And then if you noticed in the second half of the game, I basically played an umbrella with the D guys after I got it in because I didn't want to get beat going back. I'm like, I'm just gonna shut this shit down. Do what you guys need to do. If you see me high slots, hit me high slot. If not, I'm just making sure they're not getting a quick breakout in transition on us.
Exactly. Yep. And the other thing I kind of want to touch on too, who's sitting at number 2 for goals against is Hartford, who is in 3rd place. They're only 7 behind you guys in goals against right now. They don't have their other game in, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But they're 15-5-1. And a little surprised, to be honest, that they're doing as well as they are, and that's not a knock against anyone. I mean, they have Heroic, they had Sty, but they made a lot of trades.
They traded Sty to the Huskies for profits, and dictated.
Exactly, and
I think,
to be honest,
I haven't played them yet, but is Heroic Duck playing forward? Because
he's been
I
always
think
both.
he's just like other people we have mentioned where he's a beast no matter where he plays, you know.
Exactly. Yep. And what I was going to touch on those trades, like what Rhett just mentioned, and that Sty trade, just not really a good look. I'm not sure what happened there. There had to have been some sort of falling out, and I'm not going to say.
Yeah, and we can mention it now, but that thing was. This was like the third time that thing was in there. I mean, the thing went through 3 times before it finally got done because it was
a leak
up there,
and
then it was balked on. First they changed their mind, then the second time it was leaked, and then the third time that it got done. So
it wasn't leaked. It's that rookie captains making mistakes and kicking dudes out of their Discord chats before the trade is done, and then just ghosting the player. Like, it's pretty apparent what happens when that happens. So, like,
right.
Guy's a veteran in this league and in a bunch of other leagues. Like, the dude's been around the block enough, so he's not going to be like, oh, oops, he must have accidentally kicked me. Like, the guy knows better.
Right.
But
I mean, the way I do it, right when the 7 o'clock margin's coming along with the guys that I moved, whether it was a TC guy, I've made a couple moves this year. I always had a thing typed out, so as soon as the thing went live, I would send it to them, and I wouldn't remove them. I'd wait for them to remove themselves. I'm not about just kicking somebody out, and I'm trying to do what's best for my team. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or be a dick to anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. Like 6:55, I'll start typing a message, and I'll just hover over it till hit send.
Yep, exactly, and then just hit enter. Yep.
They. I mean, after those trades, I just don't see. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not going to make playoffs. That'd be a bit of a stretch, considering they still have T-Bags and Heroic.
4 weeks to go?
Yeah, after this week, 4 weeks. But
3 weeks and a
the thing I want to talk about is let's get to the other team that's involved in it. Let's talk about the Huskies. They were one of the feared teams. When I first looked at the boards after the draft, because I know a lot of those guys that they got that other people didn't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, What? I'm scratching my head because those are all good players.
Well,
man,
I mean, they forfeited
that,
two of the last 4 nights. I think last Thursday they forfeited both games, and yesterday they forfeited both games.
Yeah, just really disappointing. Not good for the league. And definitely that's kind of where my surprise team was going to come in. I really thought they were going to be a good team, and I know a few of their losses have been forfeits, and you can't really say that they would have been wins. But I mean, they have all the players there, man. Like, what the hell is going on? They have Master as a part-time guy, and I know he will play. Master's
maybe they'll be
guy.
maybe they'll be the MHL Blues climbing up the standings and making a run at the end. I know one of their guys. I know that Pylon. I think he's the one that went to Europe for a week or two. Is on vacation or something, so he should be back. I don't know about what the deal. Again, I don't know what the deal is with Sty, but I mean that guy's a game changer too. You get him on the ice. We all seen what he did last season.
Yeah, and to me, having players go on vacation, even if they're full time. Race Boy was just on vacation last week. We did just fine. I have a guy on vacation this week. Everything's scheduled. It's not an excuse. You have TCs. You have full time players. They need to figure their shit out.
Right, everyone seems to think that the TC, well, not everyone, a lot of people seem to think that the TCs are regular roster players. Those are ECUs, emergencies. You have your regular guys that give you enough coverage. I can't see how you have your 6 guys, your leftover guys, which is another, 4 players, and then three TCs, and you can't field a team. I scratch my head on that.
Yeah. I'm going to move on.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I always have I'm sorry. I always have. I don't know how you guys do it. I always have a guy on call every night. So if somebody dips, then, like, I happen to be I wasn't even supposed to play last night because it was a Bruins game. I had the night off, but someone dips. I was on call for the night. I had to play. You know what I mean? I had to play.
Right, and those guys have been in the league for, I'm assuming, a few seasons. I know I was a rookie last season, but Bose and MEC, SPDR has been around a while. They know better, and hopefully they switch it around here.
Yeah, moving along.
Moving along to Philadelphia. They're sitting at number 4. Pretty much, they're doing a little bit better than what I expected, but not by much. I predicted them to be a playoff team. They drafted a bunch of players they've played together before with G-Code and Sellas and Sancho, and they got a really good goalie in Tigger Happy. Tigger Happy's a great goalie. No one really knew about him coming in, but they also have Flintstone Al, who has been very active in the chat. I like Flintstone personally, but
I do too. I mean, I have my little beeps with them there in the beginning, you know, with the jousting back and forth and stuff like that. But I actually got into a party with him and played some games and had a good. I had last Friday off. I mean, we played 12 sixes. I freaking almost all day. You know, he's generally a good dude. I enjoyed.
I feel like you get in a squad
the day playing with him
at the beginning of every season.
Right.
Like last season it was me. This season it's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been. I mean, he has 14 games played and 40 points. So clearly he's been doing really well. But yeah, they have a really solid team.
And he's their replacement for because the Incel is part time.
Yeah.
And we all know what Incel's capable of, but I mean Incel is at 11 and 18, which I would say that's a slow start for him considering what he's done the last couple seasons. And then you have Flintstone, who's actually picking up between the two of them. They got like, let's see, 40. They got quite a amount of points.
Yeah, I mean it's
the two of them on left.
I might
wing.
be looking at the wrong line, but Encelas has 9 games played and 29 points. So almost 3 points a game. G-Code doing pretty much what he does. 15 games played, 41 points. This is built a lot similar to the way I wanted to build my team, where we're built very solid all around. No one's really standing out. And they're doing well. I mean, they've lost 3 in overtime, so you know that they're playing a couple of games closer that they probably could have won. So,
But I seen the one that they lost. I think it was them that lost last night in overtime, where the freaking goalie made the save and it counted as a goal. I seen the video. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell happened there?
And the glove was
Yeah.
like
Why did that
the
puck-
glove was like way outside of the net. It was like he was sitting at the top of
Yeah.
the paint.
Yeah, it wasn't even like he waved it all the way back or anything like that. It was a total EA fail that they ended up taking an L for in overtime.
yeah, that was we had a similar actually against you guys, Notorious, where I think it was Deke that took it to the net on his backhand. He didn't shoot, but the puck went through the post, and it counted as a goal.
Yes. Listen,
So-
I know I lost a game 7 in overtime of the Cup Finals to a puck going through the side of the fucking net underneath the fucking white apron, and
Yeah.
that was the game-winning goal of the Cup.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate. Those
And
those
Weapon
EA
knows
goals.
because it was Weapon, I believe, that scored. It was Weapon that scored that goal through the side of the net
Yeah, that was
years and years ago.
as much as we complain about EA stuff. I mean, that happens frequently, but like a lot of the bounces and tips and stuff like that. I mean, that happens in real hockey, and anyone that's played hockey at a decent level knows that shit happens. But when those things happen in competitive games, it's just really unfortunate. Especially Game 7 Cup Finals, it's like, come on. Like, hopefully next game that they fix some of that stuff.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I had the current president at the time back then was on. I was on his team. I'm like, it was one of the best D's to play in the Moose. This guy JJDM, and I was like, JJ, you can't let a cup be won by that. He's like, it's not in the rules. Not in the rules, title. I'm like, fucking hey.
Come on, man. But yeah, moving on. My team sitting in 5th place. We're 14-6-2. I'm going to circle back to that later, talking about my team. I'm just going to kind of go through the standings a little bit quickly here. Goals for 82, 54 against, difference of 28. Nothing really standing out. Power play percentage sitting at 23, 80% penalty kill. We're 7-2-1 in our last 10. I've and not to sound like cocky, but I've been doing a lot of the offensive production, but that partly has to do with a lot of the trades that I've made. I've gotten rid of a lot of people and traded a few people in the first 2 weeks, so that is part of the reason why. But yeah, we've had a pretty big comeback since week 1 and 2. And as I mentioned earlier, we were 10-3-1 since the first week. So sitting pretty right now. Really happy with our team.
Definitely an improvement.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We bounced
From
back the
what you
last
said.
couple weeks. I mean, I get to talk about your team as much as I get to talk about my team because Daniel calls me like pretty much every night.
Yeah.
But
Ooh, Furry's been an excellent teammate, and that's the other thing. Our locker room is great, man. Everyone gets along. Everyone's really cool. We play together pretty much at least every MHL night. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say too much other than, and I'll circle back to it later, go a little bit more in depth. But we've been on a run here, so we get to play you guys tonight. So.
I think that's key.
Yeah.
Having a happy locker room,
Yeah.
and even I've been on teams, and I was actually on Scrubs' team where everybody hated each other, dude. It was like brutal, just brutal. The chat was toxic. It was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it's
They
key.
got a lot of fun.
That was rough.
What I wanted to say about that too is that even last season, I played on Saginaw as a rookie. We did not have the best. We had probably one of the worst defenses in the league. Our forward line had to do pretty much everything, but we all really liked each other. Ninja was great. Klein was awesome. I love all of them. Scrub lives with them, so he knows I was very active with them. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But we were all really cool, but we weren't really a great team. So we had a happy locker room, but maybe not one of the best teams last season.
Yeah, we had the same thing in Utah last season. But like one quick note, when Daniel, because I mean Ninja wasn't available to help on draft day, so like I was kind of hanging out and partying by myself. and Daniel jumped in with me for like 5 hours just to like sit there and watch the draft of me. I'm sure the dude was like bored out of his mind. But when I nominated him specifically so he could get off Xbox and go make taquitos. Hoodward probably knows Daniel well enough now to like, the dude's always like, can't, I'm busy right now, I'm like fucking with my crock pot, or like my wife wants me to vacuum. Anyways, but I told him when he got drafted by you guys, like, you could not have gone to a better locker room in terms of like the guys that you had at that point, like you, Beerus, Raceboy, like those are all guys that, number one, like, you guys are active as fuck, and number two, like, you know, you guys never have drama. I mean, Beerus is in drama all the time, but the dude is like the king of trolls. So
yeah, he likes to get his troll in for sure.
Yep. And I'll probably touch on that a little bit later too when I circle back. But moving on to the Blades, really solid team. We played them last night. We were able to get a sneak in a sweep of them, and we played our backups too, which was really good for us. Definitely a confidence booster. But man, they're almost, I can't say almost like my last team last season, but they have a really solid forward line with Sphinx and Hoots and Sloots and Cash Kush. I mean, they're putting up 3 points per game average. I mean, they're dominating pretty much every team, but they're only 14-7-1. I haven't heard, they're not very active in chat, so I guess we don't really know. I haven't really seen a lot of any of their game footage or anything like that. But
who is their goalie?
Green Thumb Hippie, who is actually a great goalie, and he played outstanding against us. Really, really good goalie. Never gets pulled off the post. I got stoned a few times, but the games were tight. I mean, we had all the stats, but we won 4-2 and 3-2, so it wasn't anything special. But right. You'd think with a top forward group and some decent defense and a goalie like that, they'd be doing maybe a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty much right where I thought they would be. Playoff team. I thought they would be a top 5 team, but they're sitting only a point behind us. So they win 2 tonight, we lose 2. They're right back in it. Right. So that doesn't.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is with Scrub me in blue every night. How'd you do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm still in the game. Will you let me finish?
So they, I'm sure they're hurting a little bit after that sweep, but I'm sure they're going to get right back on the horse and win a few here. They're a good team, and with a goalie like that and the offense, they're going to be just fine. So, moving on to the Blues, they are 13-5-2. They haven't put in stats today. I'm not sure how they did last night.
I think they split.
So they're 14-6-2. So pretty much right where we are. So they're tied with us. So they are pretty much right where I thought they would be with all those part-time players that are great. Their GMs are clearly carrying their team right now. I mean, they're both Angles and Crazy Legs are doing almost all of the offense, but that's just because they have part-time players, so they're not going to get as many games played. And I know they're hurting now that Doust has left MHL too, who was one of their full-time players.
Did he really?
I'm pretty sure he did, and maybe mistaken.
So glad I traded him at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he. I thought was a great pickup for both you and them, because they needed a solid full-time winger, and Doust is a good player, but he's a high-risk player too. I played with him in other leagues a couple of years ago, different games, but he's definitely one of those guys that if he's not playing in his main league, goes to a different league. Kind of risky, doesn't really show up, and that's exactly what happened with them. So.
Right.
Hopefully they can find somehow to maybe trade one of their other players. I know they have some players they're looking to trade, probably 4 full-time players. So you could already see early on that not even halfway through the season that they're trying to get rid of the players that they drafted for full-time players.
With all them part-time players, though, they haven't forfeited at all this year, though, right? Have they had any?
I'm not sure.
forfeits or anything? I don't
I
think
remember
so.
the
forfeited one
rumor
game.
at the beginning
I know
of the
they,
season. Go ahead.
I know they haven't forfeited nearly as much as the Huskies have. I know that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, the rumor was at the beginning of the season that they were going to forfeit Tuesdays, and that did not happen. So I got to give props to them for having that kind of scheduling nightmare as captains in this party. I'm sure that you know that if we had awful or part-time players, you'd be hurting, man. You would be really hurting.
Absolutely, absolutely. We play
So-
them Thursday, so we'll see what happens there.
So moving on to Hood Rat's team, they are 12-8-2. They are sitting in the last playoff spot right now for the time being. There's a couple other teams that don't have their stats in, but it wouldn't matter anyways. Yeah, they middle of the pack team. They haven't done as well as I thought they would with the team that they drafted. I thought Cougar was a really good pickup. Damari was a great pickup, but he, as we mentioned earlier, had gotten in a car accident and was able to play.
I haven't even seen the guy yet. First game play.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, and Frosty is, as you mentioned earlier, everyone by this time is going to know who Frosty is, and I'm sure that they do, because he only went for 14 bods, and he's 17 games played,
I think he
58
went
points.
I'm gonna
I think
keep
he went for 14 for the fact that there was some availability issues gonna be happening at the beginning of the
Yeah, that's
he
true.
was, at first
of the
he was
season
only
on
good-
him.
He told me he was only going to be good for Wednesdays and Thursdays, but then like his shit worked out and he was available for all of them. But regardless, like I'm keeping the dude for at least the next 3 seasons. Like he goes up 5 every year, even on VODs 3 seasons from now. The guy's still worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the type
Right.
of guys that you like to have at those low bods coming into the league.
Yeah.
That they if they choose
And, like,
to stay with you, that you
a
have them
lot of
for
the
a couple
veteran captains-
seasons.
A lot of the veteran captains were complaining that like the dude has an attitude problem. The guy's been fucking awesome. The guy's been he's obviously not listening because he doesn't give a shit enough to listen. But like the dude, number one, me and the dude clicked really well, and I really don't like that French Canadian style of hockey. Like it doesn't mesh well with my game. But the dude and I have been firing off goals off each other left and right.
Right.
And on top of
Right.
that, like now that we're adding all these French players, like he's essentially been like a third captain since the beginning of the season, him and Upshaw.
Yeah, those are the type of players you love to have too. Because just looking
Well,
at
I think
stats. Go ahead.
I think we probably the most recent that played you, and I kind of forget what the games were. I want to believe they were all close games.
We lost.
Well,
I played the first game and we lost 3-2, and then I didn't play the second game, and Evo came in for me, and I was watching the Twitch stream while I was recording the podcast, and we lost like 4-0. It was brutal.
right. And what I wanted to say there, from what I seen, you guys were like one piece away from being more of a threat offensively. And when I say that with no disrespect.
No,
but my
I
game
agree
plan
with you. I agree
my
with you
game
100%.
plan going in there was that we're not going to let Frosty beat us. We're going to D up on Frosty. If he gets the puck to Hood Rat or on the other side they score, so be it. Frosty is not going to beat us. We are going to shut Frosty down on that side, and that's the way we're going to play this game.
I think all of last week, and then until for all of last week, I was the only player on our team that scored goals. Period. But
Right.
I mean, even with Akis, like Akis was our go-to right wing for a while, only because like, how do you not play Upshaw on D against better teams? Even though Upshaw was like a serviceable right wing, we didn't have a serviceable right wing all season. Now we got tactics, so like I'm a lot happier now. I feel like
Right, they're going to have that QC chemistry that the QCs can play with QCs, and that's what I was looking for when Vashon wanted. They love to play together. He wanted to get Gilbert, but I had missed it by the time he had gotten the message to me. So I went out and I got Ace QC for him, and they can communicate, and I can communicate to Vashon, and he can communicate it to Thing on what.
That's why
games I go in there. I go in with a game plan on how I'm gonna play my game, and I just if they're in there, I let them know this is how we're gonna do this tonight.
I'm really excited to see how we do that would be an all French top line in Dez, Dez, Frosty, and Tactics. I mean, even Beerus like messaged me earlier, and he's like, "Hey, is there any chance you can play tonight?" I was like, "Why? Do you want me to play Daniel?" He's like, "No, I just don't want to play 3 French guys on the top line."
You did tell me that. Yeah, you guys definitely have some offense. I thought that you guys would have maybe a little bit better of a record, but you did lose 2 in overtime, so that could explain why.
Well,
a couple of tight games.
We were steamrolling the first 2 weeks. I think like at the end of week 2, we were the number 3 team in the league behind Kootenai and the Railers.
Yeah, yep, you're right. I believe you were.
Last week we had a ton of availability issues. Like when we played the Railers, we didn't have Frosty or Upshaw, which is like we pretty much already lost. Was a nail biter. I think it was like 1-0 for like the entire game. They scored the second goal with like 30 seconds to go, and we hit like 7 or 8 shots off the post. But a loss is a loss, whatever. But yeah, last week killed us. I think we went like 4-1 last week, and we split yesterday. Which I mean, no disrespect to Donnie, but like that should have been too easy. So like we'll see what happens tonight. Luckily, like looking over our schedule, we don't really have that many like Monday to Thursday hard weeks, minus like last week and next week. But aside from that, like, you know, I don't know. We've been slipping lately, but I feel like if we can bounce back a little bit, especially if these new players click, like we'll be back in that 3 to. I think we'll finish in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I think you're kind of at the same point I was maybe at the end of week 2, where we were slipping a little bit week 1. Got some new players, working out some kinks, availability issues, and then the chemistry just naturally clicks as you play along in the season. So, the crunch, you two, both those teams. I mean, I play you tonight, and I play the crunch tomorrow. So
yeah,
those are going to be.
We spoke with them yesterday. The only advice I'm going to give you is that if they get frustrated losing the first game, they'll run nothing but grinders for the second game. And I'm not going to lie, they're a lot better with 5 grinders than they are with the guys playing their natural builds.
Yeah, they did the same thing to us first game. We beat them. Second game, they hit the shit out of us, dude.
They had like 57
I mean, we
hits
still won.
Game 2.
Right. Yeah, I think they had like last I looked in our series, they had like 40 something. I don't even remember, but they fucking were just hitting everything in sight.
Right. So next team behind them is Crunch. They're 2 points behind. They're 12 and 10. Pretty much exactly where I thought they would be, middle of the pack team. They've made a pretty significant amount of trades. Not really a whole lot to go on. They have Iverson, who's been really good for them lately. But besides that, they don't really have anyone that's really standing out at me. Just looking over the roster.
I thought for sure Surprise you would finish as like a top 4 scorer at the end of the season.
Right, and he's still a top guy, him and Iverson. But
he's got 189 hits.
Yeah, I mean top forward with hits. He's definitely doing well for himself. And him and Iverson are obviously they're dangerous 2 forwards, but Darius has played some good goalie too, and also Jeffrey looks like has been playing some goalie, but they clearly lack on defense. That's clearly their
I was gonna say it looks like another team that's struggling on the defensive side of the game.
Just from playing them, like their defense is definitely carried by their offense, especially when they run those big builds. Like they'll just shut the blue line down. Like it's near impossible for like a small build to get across center ice without just getting destroyed. Frosty ran into it yesterday where like Frosty couldn't get the puck. Like we couldn't connect more than 2 passes in game 2 because like a dude would already be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my game plan when I played you, was to hit him and beat him up. Me and Hogsy both played. I mean, I always play the grinder builds because I can't play if I'm not hitting. I can't play any other build. I have to be able to hit, and if I don't, I'm fucking miserable because I don't like getting hit. It pisses me. It pisses me off, dude. I couldn't be like one of those little fast French guys that get hit all game, and it doesn't. It just aggravates the fuck out of me. I can't get hit.
The next team behind the Crunch is Los Angeles. They are 10-8-3. It looks like they're missing a game. They are captained by
they had
Jules.
they had an issue with the event. I went in and I fixed that for them. I got a message on that. They were missing the 9:30 game from last night. I went in and remade the event for them. So
Yeah,
that's the game they're missing.
They have a solid team. We played against them. They forfeited the first game. They had some availability issues, but they do have a solid team. Jules is a good goalie. They have Dweezy, who I brought into the league. Probably not a lot of people know him, but he has 4 points per game, so obviously he's doing pretty well. Hallmain is a great forward. He's been doing well. They have Truly, who's a good defenseman as well. So they have a good team, but I feel like they're just lacking maybe a little bit of offense. At least when we played them, we pretty much routed them the entire game. We lost in overtime. But they just couldn't really generate a whole lot of offense just based on when I played them, and I think that's kind of where they're at. I mean, they only have 61 goals for, so pretty big drop off from the team above them, which is Syracuse at 85. So they're only pretty much sitting at the same points in the standings, but having that big of a difference, 24 goals for difference, pretty big deal. They're not scoring enough goals. So Grand Rapids, pretty much another team that I thought they would maybe be towards the bottom of the standings. They're at 19 points, a little bit of a drop off there between them and the Kings. They traded away a couple of players. They have Dangs now, which is a big pickup for them because that's exactly what they need. They do not have any offense outside of Ty.
We played them last
D from
night. They
Boston.
played us tough. They played us tough as hell and took us to overtime in the first game. And Hellbent Willie was a freaking absolute beast in that first game. And yeah, we were nervous. They took us to OT.
Yeah, they have some, they made some good moves. They have Silly Sully, they Hellbound Willie, D from Boston. They have a decent team. Ghost Bear as well. I think is another team that probably made some trades after they lost a few. So hopefully they can turn it around. It's not like they're doing terrible. They're 9-12-1. They're not doing terrible. They're 5-4-1 their last 10. So.
Yeah, their offense was flashy. Their D was decent, and Willie was doing Willie things in freaking that
Willie was
first game.
doing Willie things. I love it.
Willie doing Willie things. Behind them is the Stars. Not sure what's going on with their captain situation. I'm pretty sure Chaos King took over, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so
And I feel bad because Chaos ended up in a bad situation. He got traded to that team like 2 weeks ago in that trade that sent Willie to the Griffins. I actually think it was last week. And now he finds himself captaining a team that he had no part in building. Like, I kind of feel bad for the guy.
yeah, he's. They have a decent team. I know we played them the very first night. Excuse me. But with no JT, is JT still playing? Anyone know?
No,
I don't know.
JT got removed. I think it was middle of week 3.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
week 2, yeah. Around week 2 or week 3, he got removed. And he were
Okay.
And then he was getting chirped by his own teammates, and he was just like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Vanny were clearly they're going to be their best players regardless. Without those two, probably going to be a bottom half team, to be honest with you. I mean, they're already 8-11-1.
Yeah.
Missing 2 games.
Props
they
to
haven't put in stats.
Chaos. Props to Chaos for stepping up and taking care of business. The guy on the no team management, total management ghosted. Nobody knew what was going on in the chat or anything over the weekend, and it wasn't. The MEC wasn't even aware until yesterday, until we got a message from Chaos King saying, "You guys know what's going on," and he went ahead, made lines, kept everybody cool, and decided he would step in. So props to him and thank you from the league for stepping up and doing that.
And the fact that he did it with that Red Squadron, I wonder if that causes any friction in the household.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyone that's been around long enough knows those two guys are attached at the hip.
Yeah, that's true. Below them is Colorado. This is a team that has made some trades recently, who I believe are gonna probably go on a little bit of a roll. They're 7-3 or 7-10-3 right now. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. But from what I can tell, just speaking with some of their players, they're definitely
They're ready to make a run.
They're ready to make a bit of a run. Mr. Mike Scott, clearly their goal scorer. Pens fans been doing all right for them as well. Another team that, at least when we played them before the trades, they got smoked. I mean, their defense was not very good. They took a ton of penalties. I think it was like 7 or 8 penalties in one game. But they do have BC Retton now, which is a huge pickup.
We played them the day after he landed on their squad. And I mean, it was like we still won both games like fairly decisively. But yeah, that team is essentially like, I know Gal's strategy going into the draft was to pick up Mike no matter what and build a team around him, and I don't think he did a very good job of that. But I think a guy like BC, especially because he's going to be playing on Mike's side, on that right side, gives Mike the creativity to go up. And even then, like, we all know BC is a solid offensive defenseman as well. Like, their right side is looking real solid. But if they're going to go on, like, a significant tear, they need at least 1 or 2 more pieces. Because if you look at the teams that they've been playing a lot of those other bottom-of-the-pack teams. And I think as soon as they get even up to, like, the top 10 in the league, it's going to be brutal again.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're gonna need essentially to have a carry. Like, they need a backpack guy, and hopefully one of those two, not both of them, can step up. Gao is, and no disrespect to him, not the best defenseman. Gladiator, same thing. I'm pretty sure he's a forward, but yeah, they hopefully they could go on a tear. I really did like their trades. Their goalies are good. Trip Aces and Death Maul, I think, are good goalies. So, below them are the Huskies. We kind of already run over them.
We already talked over that one there.
Yeah, we don't really need to go any further on that. The Spirit, 7-15. They are sitting in 15th place, but they've won 4 in a row. And I think that partly has to do with the trades that they made. Klein is not a dummy. I like Klein a lot. He is not a good defenseman, but getting Faust and Matt.
Well,
I think
let's
big
update
deals.
that before you go any further. Fast has had some issues and has had to leave, so he is no longer playing at all.
Again.
Okay.
He's not playing at all again.
Nope.
Yeah. So, well, with that news, then we know that probably going to stay where they are. But if Matt can somehow backpack this team, Clumsy Ninja steps it up a little bit, then they might be okay. But Clumsy Ninja not playing goalie is kind of a big deal to me because he's kind of an average defenseman.
That's his best position. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not playing his best position.
His best position is in net. No.
And their goaltending has been atrocious. Just looking at their stats, I mean, their top goalie, 71 save percentage. That's not going to cut it in a competitive league. Clumsy
not
is
in this day and age. I mean,
But
in
it
this
doesn't
game,
fall on just the goalies too. I mean, you gotta have
no. It's the
defense in front of you too. It's
Nope.
Yep,
gonna
and-
hurt
Lessen
the
up your
goalies.
turnovers.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
You're absolutely right. And I think that goalies can steal games, but they've given up the most goals in the league. They've given up 117 goals. That is ridiculous numbers. They're negative 67. But yeah, I mean, if they're winning 4 in a row, I'm not sure who they've played. I could take a look here. Hopefully,
They took 4.
If you
They had 2 forfeit wins last night.
okay,
I believe.
Okay. Yep, they took 2 against the Huskies, so, and then they beat Sudbury, so, and those were tight games, 3-2 and 1-0, and that might have been a
1
forfeit
to
as
nothing
well.
was another forfeit as well.
Yeah,
So 3 out of
So-
the 4 wins are forfeits.
they're clearly deciphering that more. Nothing to write home about. Foss is gone, and really the only player that they have any hope in is Matt, because he's a good player, but he doesn't have anyone around him. They don't have good goaltending, and they have terrible defense. I mean, I think that's
Yeah,
pretty
you can
much the
tell
overall.
I mean, you not to beat a dead horse, but you look at the plus minuses on the team. I'm not even going to say what they are, but there's definitely a defensive, and they're definitely defensively inept because they definitely ain't playing defense.
Yep. Right below them is Paint's team, Toledo Walleye. They were pretty tough to play against when we played them.
Yeah,
both 1-goal games.
their record surprises me because I mean, even when we played them, like I mean, we all know Payment's a really good goalie, and she's done a great job stepping up when Peds and what's his name, their old coach.
Huffington.
Yeah.
Huffington.
When Puff and Pens got knocked out of the league. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, calling up Jets as your co when she could have called up Shelter, who was willing and is no disrespect to Jets, but a much better player than Jets. So like, okay. When we played them, they were surprisingly difficult to play against. Like, I don't know how they're not stringing more wins together.
We played
Yeah, I
them
think
last
that-
night.
They
and we
almost
only won
stole
by
one
2
from us
both
last.
games, Yeah.
Yeah, they almost stole one from us last week. We took them a little too lightly, and next thing you know, with 5 minutes left in the game, it's a 3-3 fucking game. We were like, let's go, boys, get us smarting the fuck up here.
Yeah, they
And
have
Payment
good
let
defense.
Payment let everybody know that I had to play goal in the second game, and she let everybody know she might have lost, but she scored her first MHL goal on me. Which was actually a nice little goal. I mean, she really didn't shoot the puck, but it was just an awesome poke by her of a loose puck that fucking just went right through my 5-hole.
Yeah, their defense is actually good. They have Unox Clouds, who plays at a high level in another league. Shelders is a decent forward.
They actually
Death Killer is okay.
They just moved Shelter to the Ducks.
Okay, so Shelders no longer on the team. Okay.
Yeah.
Who did they receive?
Right up right now. I know it was a 3-way. It was Fethy, Ice received. Oh no, that was the RJ trade. It was the Ducks got Stoner and Shelder, and the Walleye got Mr. Cush and Dragon Skate.
Okay, so yeah, Mr. Cush is another guy that I brought into the league. He's a solid defenseman. He's maybe not a top defenseman in this league, but he is a good defenseman, and that probably just bolsters their defense even more. They probably need maybe another forward to score some goals. But they have Unox Clouds, who I mentioned just recently. He's a good forward, man, and he's sick on the LT. So tough to play against. And like what Hoodrat said, a little surprised at what their record is right now. 6-15-1. I thought they'd be more of a middle of the pack team, but they've lost 7 in a row, so they're not doing too hot right now. The Ducks right behind them. Yeah, I mean, we played them earlier this week, or maybe it was last week. 4-17-1, 1-9 in their last 10. Their negative 51 difference. Give up 93 goals. They've only scored 43 goals this season. Yeah, just not doing well. Clearly, they just don't have the pieces there. They traded away Truly, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan is their centerpiece as a goalie. And
He's
even
gone.
Lippy.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jackie's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Another guy who had personal stuff that he had to leave.
Okay. Yeah, then that's just another hit to their team. They don't really have any pieces. No one's scoring. Their defense is not very good. Maybe Rod, but Rod's an average D-man at best. And Lippy's is probably an average goalie at best as well. They just don't have any offense, and they traded away, in my mind, what was their best D-man in Mr. Cush. So, I don't think they're moving anywhere. They're probably going to sit at the bottom of the standings. I don't know about what you guys think.
I just want to reiterate on the Lippy thing. Lippy is kind of like, who can I compare him to? He's kind of like a Prophets of Rage. Both of them have the capabilities to be incredible and make saves that'll scratch your head. But then on any given night, it's kind of a thing like, are you going to get a motivated Lippy who's going to be into the game, or are you going to, you know what I mean? He has a lot of really bad goals, whether it's EA or whatever. He seems to get scored on him.
Yeah, at least in the games that we played, none of those goals were his fault, man. His defense, I mean, we just tore him apart. I mean, as simple as that. We were able to get around their defense. fairly easily. A lot of one-timers, a couple breakaways, a wraparound or two that wasn't defended. So, I mean, just goes to show you, like what Scrub was saying earlier, it's not always really the goalie's fault, even though he's sitting at close to 80%.
I think a motivated goalie is the best, too, because Lippy, even when he played for us last year, he didn't want to get on and play any. He just wanted to get on and play his games. And when we were doing it, whether it be on the weekend where the team was playing together, he would want to play forward. So I think he's a guy that probably lost a little bit of the love for the goalie position. He kind of wants to venture away from that. Sometimes I think his thing is he's bored playing goalie. You know what I mean? So he might not be paying attention all the time. You know what I mean? Not giving it his full focus.
I think also, too,
the fact that because the button skill for him to be a top goalie is there. I mean, the guy can't be an average goalie and get like 7 shutouts in a season. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. I agree with that, too. And I know this probably sounds, Captain Obvious or whatever, but he would be a lot better on a better team. Because he would be more motivated and be like, okay, like we're actually like playing for something. Right,
here. True.
At that point, you're just playing to lose. Which kind of brings me to the next team. Sitting at the very bottom, Sudbury. It's a dumpster fire, man. They've lost 15 in a row. I mean, that's over 2 weeks of losing. I don't know what the heck's going on over there.
I kind of feel like the name Sudbury is cursed. It needs to be retired after this.
I was thinking the same thing earlier.
Yeah, because I mean, Payment ran it last season, and it was pretty much the same thing. Like as good a goalie as she is, like you mentioned, like that team was a fucking dumpster fire. And I mean, even so, this season, like completely different roster, still dumpster fire.
Well, I mean, you got Danny Pups, who's probably their best forward. He's only played 7 games. Like,
well, he's got availability issues because he plays in another league and he puts that league over this league. But even so, like his production in those games has not been anything like the Danny that we saw last season.
Oh, absolutely. Right. He's got 2 goals and 8 assists. That's not Danny Pups' stats.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of going back though, he's played he didn't play. Who did he play for last season? I always forget.
He started out playing for the Devils, and then he got moved, and I forget.
He ended up with Tactics. He ended up playing for Chaos and Squadron on the Americans.
Okay, so yeah, he played on maybe a little bit better of a team there at the end, even though the Americans were not a good team.
I think they were bottom 3 in the league, and even then, like. They still had Danny and Tactics, and I know Danny had more points than Tactics, but I know Tactics for a fact had like 67 points in like 38 games or 32 games.
Right.
I can't expect a guy, even with his skill level. I mean, he's one of. I can't say he's a top forward, but he is definitely one of the better forwards. When you don't have anyone around you, even on defense or offense.
Yeah, that's terrible. I have a guy like that on my team this year. I mean, I think you play with him a little bit late at night because he plays late at night in Ukraine Train. The guy's a good hockey player. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to cycle. He knows how to play his defensive responsibilities. But he's never really been given a chance because he has been on average at best teams to bad the last couple of seasons. That's why when I went in with Hogs, I was like, if we can get him in the RFA for cheap money, I'm taking him.
Well, and that was the thing.
Right. I'm keeping him.
I traded for him last season because he had from Willie from the season before that. And when I traded for him, it was like week 4, right before the deadline. And he had like 6 games played. And I played him 6 nights a week for the rest of the. And I mean, we were a mediocre team at best. I think we finished to like, 11th place in the league? But Sean's a really good hockey player, and he has really good hockey sense too. Like he understands.
Absolutely.
The only thing is, I promised him once Scally back, because the original plan was for me, him, and Scally to essentially run a team as a pair of 3. But when Scally stepped out, he wanted to see like what else was out there. So I told him like, hey, listen, I'll RFA you to get you off the board, but I promise I'm not going to keep you. So I think you guys paid what, 20 for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 is like an absolute steal for Sean. Sean is easily
absolutely
a high 20, low 30 bod player.
Same thing with Vachon. I got Vachon for dirt money too. I mean, I could very easily. I looked over my roster just in case I want to keep it to follow over. I have a lot of guys I can basically bring back
Oh,
half
yeah.
my team
Yeah.
and still be in good shape. I mean, Shuck and Drive, I'll give him 20 in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, he's
As
easily
a D guy.
I think he's a top 5 D man in this league for sure.
All right, so that kind of wraps up the standings. Did you guys want to maybe move on to league leaders?
Yeah, let's move over to the league leaders and.
All right, I'll let you guys start that one off. I'm gonna go go use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
All right, Scrub, you still with us? You want to go over the goalies, considering you're a goalie?
I guess.
Wake up. Did you have an early run today?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me load it up. I know D. What is it?
Oh, I'm
Delicious
sorry. I
is
thought
in
you.
first.
I have it all loaded up. I'll do it. I thought you might have had it loaded up. My fault. Sorry.
I got it now.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, both of your goalies are sitting on the top right now. Delicious and Dirty Jers.
Yeah, and I got someone who's angry because I'm not giving him goalie games. Not angry, but wants goalie games.
Delicious with 92 save percentage, 90 shots against, 83 saves. Dirty Jers has 85 save percentage, 170 shots against him, 146 saves. Then we got Prophets of Rage in third with an 85.8 save percentage. Then we got Willie in fourth with an 84.7. Then we got Ninja, Hoodrat's Co. with a 84.3. That's the top 5.
2 Hellbents in there. Nice.
Yeah, and then I'm in
Look at-
6th right now. I'm right behind the brother-in-law.
It looks like Profits has actually got back to his normal self of when he was winning cups in the Vesna. Now that he has an elite defenseman on his team, because he has Duck now, so that has definitely helped his game. Which is good to see him back up on the leaderboards. All right, now we got the top 5 defensemen. You can keep going because they're like all your team.
Pretty much.
I know. Oh, it's true. Oh, it goes off of plus minus. I mean, that's why. But we got Billiams, who is first overall with a plus 55. 2 goals, 17 assists, 38 hits. He takes, one thing I like about him, very few penalties. I think all his penalty minutes were in that one game that he came in and filled in, because we had a guy lagging out, but he's got 9 penalty minutes. 21 takeaways, 48 giveaways. I mean, he's doing really well. Then we got Blue, who's been playing great. 2 goals, 14 assists, 75 hits, plus 51.
Is that a career high for him on goals?
I think
From the
he had 2
D-point?
goals last season also. He said he's already
doesn't-
beat his numbers from last season. So
He doesn't shoot very often.
Well, I mean,
But
he's 2 goals. At least they weren't in his own net, so there's that.
he's got
Right.
1 this season
Okay,
so
I'm
far,
back,
I
boys.
believe.
Where are we at?
But Blue
Defenseman,
needs,
top 5
needs
D
to
guys.
stay out of the freaking penalty box. He's got 29 penalty minutes right now.
It's okay. I think Upshaw's got him beat by a mile.
So, but Blue's doing great as far as 33 takeaways, only 43 giveaways.
Yeah, that's something that I had pulled up, and that's something that when I look at the guys, that I think is more of the primo factor to go on, because you can't have a D guy that's distributing the puck and constantly turning it over. If you have a high giveaway as a defenseman, it's usually not a good thing for your team because you're not getting the puck out of the zone. But it's funny because I just queued that up, and Lacara 22 has the least amount of giveaways out of all the defensemen with 34 in 11 games, which he's a former reeler. Last year he was a reeler, so basically you could say four reelers right on the top 4. And then you have Hoagie Hoggs, who is one of the most, I think he's highly underrated in the league, who's in the final spot on the top 5 on the giveaways with 77.
Yep. And Slam's been doing great for us. I mean, As far as for on the leaderboards, it reflects the Slam as the third overall, but he is
45
irreplaceable.
points.
He's
a pain in my
irreplaceable at right D.
He's a pain in my ass, dude. I didn't realize how much of a fucking good defenseman he was. Played with him all last year, and then I was saying it in a party, and Bell was like, "That's his natural position is right D." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, he's got 11 goals, 34 assists, 62 hits. He's at a plus 49. 55 giveaways, 39 takeaways. I mean, he's got, I think it's 4 games at right wing on the season so far. So yeah, I think 9 of his goals have came from up at forward, and quite a few assists. But he can perform from right D. He gets a lot of assists, and he gets involved
He's leading
in the offense.
all D guys with 45 points right now currently. The next closest one is Billums Jr. with 19, and then falls in with Lacara, Blue Liner, and unless that only does it to the top 5 when I do that, I'm not sure. There could be something else, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure as far as you can search off of points, I believe 45 for Slam, and then BW Easy would be the next one with 20 points for a D-man.
yeah.
And then
Yep,
Billiams,
I see that
then
now.
Makara, then Hellback Klein. Yep. But, yeah, I'm pleased with my defense. I can't complain about it at all. Oh, what would be next?
we
I
have
think
the
we go to
forwards. Hoodler, you want to do the forwards? You still with us?
Yeah, I'm here, but I figured that I'd let you guys take over since I'm in one of those spots.
All right.
I don't really want to talk about myself. So
Alrighty, I'll do this one. We have Jelly leading the number 1 spot as far as top 5 forwards with 55 goals, 29 assists
Well, I hope you all see.
for 84 points. Coming in second is my guy, Vachon, with 26-40 for 66 points. Next and third, we have Mr. Hoodler here as a center. He's the only center in the points top 5 here, with 29 goals, 36 assists for 65. So he's only 1 point out of
Second place.
second place there. And then you got Dangles HD, who we already spoke on, who's carrying the Blues there with his partner Crazy Legs, who's probably just underneath the top 5 here. But Dangles has 39 goals, 25 assists for 64 points. And then we have Scotty Main from the Kings in 5th with 5 goals, 39 assists for 64 points. So him and Dangles are tied for that. Let's see. I'm actually interested to see who's the rest underneath here. I'm just going to click it and see who it is. So like we had talked about before, I'm just going to go on. I'm not going to give the stats of the guys. I'll just give their names. In 6th, we have Hoots and Schnoots. Then we have Surprise Me in 7th. Frosty Nightmare sitting at 8th. Cash Kush at 9th. Iverson at 10th. And Crazy Legs down there at 11th. And it's all within pretty much striking distance. So these spots can all flip-flop and change be different by the end of the week because it's really, really close there. So anything else you guys would like to touch on?
Well, we got to touch on the Sin Bin leaderboards. I know Blues got to be up there.
What is it?
The Sin Bin leaderboards.
Oh, let's do it.
I gotta give.
I'm gonna say surprise
Blue
me.
Liner shit.
I'm gonna say surprise me.
Nope, it's Upshaw. I know for a fact.
No,
it's
he's. It is Scotty Main.
Oh,
Yeah,
Scotty Main,
Upshaw.
33.
Upshaw with 31 or 38.
But my pick was 2. My pick was number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, there's it goes Upshaw, Hall, Main, Blue Liner, that Unix, Clouds, and then Surprise Me for the
really, Unix
Sin Bin
Clouds.
leaders.
There was
What do we got for hits? Let's see hits.
yeah, that's a big one.
I think Surprise Me.
You have Surprise Me.
Now.
217, and next in line is Sync Show for 148. So,
Which don't surprise
my
me with
guys
Sync
know.
Show. Sync Show is always up on the hits.
Here I
Yeah,
say
me and
that
Ace-
surprises me.
you have me and AC in the middle of the pack there, right underneath each other. He has one more hit than me with 89. I haven't been running a big, huge hitter, but we got Hood Rat right there underneath us too. So yeah.
Yeah, when we play small builds, my whole team. I think when we played you guys title, they're like, holy shit, they're towering over us. And you guys don't even seem to play that big of builds anymore. I know you went down in your build.
My builds, yeah, I went down to like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, you used to play that big old grinder. You don't anymore.
Yeah. Shit, in the beginning, there was a point in time where I was playing that freaking Enforcer, dude. It's always fun to play in 12's lobby to just throw the Enforcer on.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so we got that. Anything else we want to look at? Let's see.
I don't think there's a whole lot.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much touched on everything I needed to touch on.
Yeah, I mean, we're at what, like a 45-minute show, or a little over an hour?
Longer than that, about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And then I got the podcast immediately after this. The guys are on their way over right now.
Yeah. Alrighty, we're gonna end it all here. Hopefully we can get the group together. I'd like to maybe do this once a week if Hoodler's down. I'll do it. Try to get you guys some more media.
Yeah, definitely.
And good luck. Good luck to everyone in their series tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, good talk.
Yeah, good luck
Peace.
to everybody except for you, Title.
All right, boys, that was fun. I'm gonna go get
Yeah,
ready for.
good
go
job.
get
Thanks
ready
for
the
joining
guys.
us, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having.
Gonna talk about the what are you talking Stanley Cup game here?
What else is there left to talk about?
Let me just ask you a quick question before you
What's
go. What do you think of the series right now?
I mean, I pretty much what I or on the episode before it started, it was that like whoever wins game 3 is gonna win this series, and I don't know. Now I'm kind of second guessing myself because I mean St. Louis won yesterday, but like I still feel like they barely slipped through.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Boston's handedly beat them both games that they've won. In my opinion, I don't mean to sound salty. Don't take this the wrong way, but it seems when the refs allow St. Louis to play their physical game and lets the chippiness really go, then that feeds into theirs, and it takes away from our speed game. 'Cause there's a lot of clutching, grabbing, dirty stick work. There was one time last night, I think it was Heinen or someone, trying to skate, and one of the Blues guys literally has his arm hooked, like he's literally trying to run away, and he can't freaking go anywhere. And there was like a ref standing right there and no call.
The big thing you got to remember is like these refs know every player in the league. Everybody knows that. I mean, you're a Boston fan, but still, like Boston isn't the cleanest team in the league. So St. Louis, St. Louis traditionally kind of has been had guys like O'Reilly and Shen this season. St. Louis, it's easier for them to get away with shit like that because the refs aren't looking for it. Whereas opposed to Boston's a lot more, especially with guys like Marchand and Chara. But even so, I mean, you saw it in the Sharks St. Louis series. Like, yeah, refs play a factor, but like the refs not going to win you a game. Like San Jose got every call.
Absolutely.
San
Absolutely.
San Jose was literally getting carried to the playoffs on the backs of the refs, and they still couldn't beat St. Louis. I still don't think St. Louis is a better team than Boston. I think defensively their depth isn't there, and I even think like offensively, like even though their depth scoring has been good, I don't think it's sustainable.
Right.
So I still think it's Boston in 6. I don't see how Boston doesn't go on a tear for the next 2 games, especially after losing one at home and then now going back home.
Right. Place is going to be.
I don't know if Boston can lose game 5.
It's all going to come down to is if McAvoy and Krug can get that puck out quick enough, because those two boys are taking an ass whooping, dude. They're getting destroyed every time they have that puck. They got a chance to hit them, they are getting smoked.
So good.
The audio's been cut.
Yeah. What's it called? Yeah, Brandon Carlo is so good for them.